Hello everyone, welcome to another day in your daily dose of Harry Potter. First off, I want to apologize. I'm sure you've noticed that this video is Wednesday. And last week I told you I was moving to Sundays, and apparently I was misinformed. Now we're discussing the first 3 chapters of Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets. There's really only 2 things I want to touch on these chapters. The first thing I wanted to discuss was Dobby. And that's because, first off, he is probably my favorite character out of all the books. I love him. He's hilarious and just a great character for diffusing the tension. Now, a couple months ago, I was reading The Sandalwood Tree for a book club project. And the majority of that book takes place, I believe it was in the 1940s, when the English were inhabiting India. And in that book, I came across an interesting word that I wound up looking up, and was Dobby. I believe it was D-O-B-E. And the meaning of that word is, back then when the Englishmen had their housing, they would hire a Indian housekeeper, and they were called a Dobby. And they're basically like a live-in servant. And because it's an English word, I've always wondered whether or not that may be where Dobby's name originated from. So that was just another interesting piece of trivia that I stumbled upon while reading a completely unrelated book. So besides just my overall love of Dobby as a character, the other thing I wanted to discuss was some of the things that we learn once Harry Potter's been picked up by Ron and his brothers. One of the most interesting things to me was how enthralled the wizarding world is with Muggles and their technology. And the reason I find that interesting is because of how parallel it is with the way all of us are with magic. Magic is unnatural to us, and therefore we find it interesting, whereas to most wizards, it's common day and they don't find it as interesting. So technology that the Muggles develop is something other to them. It's more or less magic to them, if you know where I'm going with that. And then you also see how captivated Harry is whenever magic occurs around him, and how the wizards around him look at him like he's basically out of his mind for thinking it's such an amazing thing for pots in the sink to be scrubbing themselves, or for little knobbly-headed gnomes to be running around the garden. And I just like how J.K. Rowling spun in the other side to that, and made technology in the Muggle world seem not as mundane as it is to all of us who live with it on a day-to-day basis. And unfortunately, that's really all I have to say on those chapters. Also, unfortunately, there wasn't a whole lot of anything going on in there involving Slytherin, so not much I can say there. But I have a pretty good feeling that there's going to be a lot more going on in this book that I'll be able to voice my Slytherin opinions on. But until next week, when we will be discussing chapters 4 through 6, I hope all of you have a great time watching our videos, and remember, we want to hear your comments and we want to see your videos, so don't be shy. Chime in.